Gentlemen, let's have a straight conversation today. By the time a man crosses 50, his body is not the same as it was at 20 or 30. The engine still runs, but it needs better care and attention. The truth is, many older men continue some private habits without realizing how age, hormones, and changing health conditions can make those habits more risky than before. Masturbation itself is a normal and natural act. It can relieve stress, help with sleep, and even improve mood through the release of dopamine and endorphins. But here's the catch. After 50, the male body is more sensitive to balance, hormones, and circulation. What once seemed harmless in youth can sometimes become harmful if it is overdone or ignored in the bigger picture of health. That's why we're going to break this down carefully so that you understand the secrets no one usually tells men after 50. The first thing you need to know is how the male body changes with age. Testosterone, the hormone that drives energy, muscle strength, and sexual function, naturally begins to decline by about 1% each year after the age of 40. By the time you are 50, 60, or 70, those levels are significantly lower. This means recovery from stress is slower, muscle tone is weaker, and the tissues in your body, including the delicate ones in the reproductive system, are not as resilient as before. When a man in his 50s or 60s masturbates the same way he did at 25, frequently, aggressively, and without rest, it can sometimes lead to fatigue, lower energy, or even physical strain. That is because the body doesn't bounce back as quickly. The prostate, a small gland that sits under the bladder, also becomes more sensitive with age. Many men don't know that excessive stimulation can contribute to irritation in that gland, which is already prone to enlargement or inflammation after 50. Now, here's another layer most men don't think about: circulation. Erections depend heavily on good blood flow, but after 50, arteries may stiffen, cholesterol may rise, and blood flow is not as strong as before. If a man engages in frequent self-stimulation without considering his circulation health, it can sometimes highlight or worsen issues like fatigue in the pelvic area, reduced stamina, or even erectile difficulties. Some men panic and think it's only age, but sometimes it's simply the way habits interact with a changing body. And then we have the mental side. Older men often face stress, loneliness, or boredom. Masturbation can become more of a coping mechanism than a healthy release. If it is used as an escape instead of a balance, it can quietly affect mood, relationships, and even sleep. For example, overdoing it late at night may interfere with your circadian rhythm, the natural sleep-wake cycle, and leave you feeling groggy the next morning. So, what's the first secret here? It's that masturbation after 50 is not automatically harmful. It's the how, when, and how often that matters. Think of it like food. Eating is essential, but eating too much sugar or fried food when you are 60 doesn't have the same outcome as when you were 20. In the same way, self-stimulation without moderation can lead to problems you didn't expect, not because the act itself is evil, but because the aging body has new rules. Men rarely talk about this. Many feel embarrassed, or they think it's private, so it doesn't matter. But your health is never private. It shows up in your energy, your confidence, and even your medical tests. A urologist will tell you that things like an enlarged prostate, low testosterone, or even chronic fatigue sometimes have lifestyle factors that include how you treat your sexual health. The good news is that awareness changes everything. Just as you learn to eat better after 50, or you pay more attention to exercise, you can also adapt your private habits. The goal is not to create guilt, but to create balance. Your body is sending signals every day. If you feel unusually tired after release, if your sleep is disrupted, if you notice weaker erections or irritation in your lower body, that is your internal clock saying, slow down, adjust, and give me care. Stay with me because in the next part, I will walk you through 5 very specific areas where overdoing masturbation after 50 can actually harm your body more than help it. And I promise you, number 3 is the one most men have never heard about, but could make a huge difference in how you feel daily. Now that we've laid the foundation, let's dive deeper. Masturbation itself is not the villain here. It's how it interacts with an older man's body that makes the difference. After 50, certain habits can become harmful if they are ignored or overdone. Here are the 5 most important areas every man should pay attention to. 1. Prostate health. Don't ignore the little gland. Your prostate is a walnut-sized gland sitting under your bladder, and it becomes one of the most delicate parts of a man's body after 50. Many men develop an enlarged prostate, or benign prostatic hyperplasia, or BPH, which can lead to frequent urination, weak urine flow, or discomfort. Here's the link. Frequent and rough masturbation can sometimes irritate an already sensitive prostate. Think of it as poking a sore spot over and over again. It may cause swelling, aching, or a feeling of heaviness in the pelvic region. This doesn't mean you should never release. In fact, studies show that regular but moderate ejaculation can help keep the prostate healthy by flushing out old fluids. The problem comes with overstimulation. If you're doing it multiple times a day, ignoring discomfort, or using excessive pressure, you may aggravate the gland instead of protecting it. A simple rule of thumb: listen to your body. If you notice burning, pelvic pressure, or discomfort after release, it's time to reduce frequency and consult a doctor. 2. Circulation and heart health. Blood flow matters. Erections are all about blood flow. After 50, circulation naturally slows because of aging arteries, cholesterol buildup, or conditions like high blood pressure and diabetes. When circulation isn't strong, erections become weaker, and recovery takes longer. If you overdo masturbation at this stage of life, you're basically asking your circulation system to work harder than it comfortably can. That can leave you feeling drained, tired, or even dizzy afterward. For men with hidden heart disease, this stress can sometimes be risky. A man I once spoke with in his 60s admitted that after frequent self-stimulation, he would feel lightheaded with a racing heart. He thought it was just old age. In reality, it was his circulation giving warning signs. The caution here is clear: moderation. Don't force your body into exhaustion. If you feel unusually tired or weak after, consider checking your cardiovascular health. Sometimes your sexual stamina is the first sign that your heart needs care. 3. Hormonal balance, testosterone, and energy levels. This is the caution area most men never hear about. Remember, testosterone is the male hormone responsible for energy, drive, and muscle tone. After 50, testosterone naturally declines. Now, occasional ejaculation is fine. It has little impact on testosterone. But when it becomes excessive, especially daily or multiple times a day, it can lead to noticeable fatigue, mood changes, and lower motivation. That's because your body is using energy reserves it doesn't recover from as quickly as before. You may notice things like feeling sluggish in the morning, losing interest in activities you once enjoyed, or even struggling to stay focused at work. Some men even report that overdoing it makes them feel empty afterward, not just physically, but emotionally. This doesn't mean you should abstain completely. It simply means your body at 55 or 65 can't handle the same schedule it did at 25. Balance is key. Number 4, mental health and emotional balance. For many men over 50, masturbation is not just a physical act, it's tied to stress relief, loneliness, or boredom. That's where caution number 4 comes in. If it becomes your main coping mechanism, it can lead to emotional dependence. For example, instead of going for a walk, talking to a friend, or enjoying a hobby, some men may find themselves locked into the cycle of using masturbation as the go-to relief. Over time, this can contribute to social withdrawal, depression, or even frustration when the release no longer feels as satisfying. I often compare it to eating sweets when you're stressed. One piece of chocolate won't harm you, but if it becomes your only comfort, you lose balance in your life. The same applies here. A healthy man after 50 needs multiple outlets for relaxation, conversation, exercise, hobbies, faith, not just the quick fix of release. Number 5. Sleep and energy cycles, protecting your circadian rhythm. This is the final caution, but it's one of the most overlooked. Many men tend to masturbate late at night, often before sleep. In moderation, this can be relaxing, but if it becomes excessive, it can disrupt the natural circadian rhythm, the internal clock that tells your body when to sleep and wake. Here's what happens. Masturbation releases dopamine and prolactin, which can make you feel sleepy at first, but if you push your body too hard, you can experience rebound effects, restlessness, shallow sleep, or waking up groggy. Over time, poor quality sleep weakens your immune system, lowers memory, and even speeds up aging. If you notice yourself waking up tired despite going to bed at a normal hour, check whether your nighttime habits might be affecting your rhythm. Sometimes simply adjusting timing earlier in the evening instead of late at night can make a world of difference. These 5 caution areas aren't here to scare you, they're here to wake you up. Your body after 50 is still capable, still strong, but it plays by different rules now. The secret is not to stop living, but to live wisely. Masturbation in moderation can still be part of a healthy life. The key is recognizing limits and respecting the signals your body gives you. In the next section, we'll talk about healthy practices, balance, and practical tips, so you know exactly how to enjoy your private health without causing harm. Now that we've uncovered the hidden truths about how habits can change after 50, and the 5 main areas where overdoing things can quietly harm a man's body, it's time to talk about what you can actually do. Because the truth is, it's never too late to take charge of your health. Many men in their 50s, 60s, or even 70s think the damage is already done, or that changing their routine won't make a difference. But let me reassure you, your body responds at any age. Even small adjustments can make a big impact on your well-being, your energy, and your confidence. The first step is learning to listen to your body. Think of your body as an old but faithful car. When it was brand new, you could rev the engine, slam the brakes, and it would bounce back quickly. But after decades on the road, it needs more care. If you ignore the warning lights, the damage builds up quietly until it's too late. Your body works the same way. So when you notice frequent fatigue, aching joints, slower recovery, or even a drop in interest and motivation, don't dismiss it as just old age. It's your body asking for balance. One of the smartest moves older men can make is setting limits and finding moderation. Instead of following the same patterns you had in your 20s or 30s, create new rhythms that match the stage of life you're in. For example, spacing out certain habits rather than repeating them daily can give your prostate, blood vessels, and hormones time to recover. Think of it like going to the gym. No one recommends heavy lifting every single day without rest because your muscles and joints need recovery. The same principle applies here. The second big step is supporting your hormone health naturally. Testosterone, dopamine, and serotonin are key players in mood, strength, and drive. After 50, they don't flow as easily as they used to. You can help your body by sticking to the basics: good sleep, regular exercise, and balanced food. It sounds simple, but many men underestimate just how powerful these 3 pillars are. Sleep boosts testosterone naturally. Exercise keeps blood vessels healthy, improves energy, and reduces stress. And foods rich in zinc, omega-3s, and lean protein support hormone balance. In short, what you do outside the bedroom matters as much as what happens inside. Third, and this is very important, don't be embarrassed to speak to a doctor, especially a urologist. Many men wait until something feels seriously wrong before they make that call. But the truth is, early checkups can prevent big problems later. Your doctor isn't there to judge you, they're there to help you. A simple exam or test can reassure you that your prostate is healthy, your blood flow is strong, and your hormones are in the safe range. Sometimes men carry silent fears,
But walking out of that clinic with answers, and often peace of mind, can feel like lifting a heavy weight off your shoulders. A fourth step is learning new ways of coping with stress and emotions. One reason many men slip into unhealthy habits is because it becomes their main outlet for stress or boredom. After retirement or when life slows down, the empty hours can feel heavy. Finding new activities like walking, gardening, swimming, or even joining a local group can give your mind and body new sources of satisfaction. You'll notice that when stress goes down, your urge to overdo harmful habits goes down too. It's about replacing one loop with another, this time a healthier one. And finally, self-compassion. This is a step many men skip. They either blame themselves for their choices or feel ashamed of what they're experiencing. Let me tell you clearly, you're not alone, and there's nothing to be ashamed of. Every man's body changes. Every man faces adjustments after 50. What sets the strong apart is not avoiding challenges, but how they respond to them. By being willing to learn, adapt, and take action, you put yourself miles ahead of men who stay in denial.
So here's my closing thought. Life after 50 can be powerful. You've got wisdom, resilience, and a deeper understanding of what truly matters. Don't let small, hidden habits quietly rob you of that strength. Instead, use what you've learned today to make healthier choices. Talk to your doctor. Care for your body like it's the only one you've got, because it is. And most importantly, give yourself the respect you deserve by making balance your best friend. And before you go, if this message spoke to you, do me a favor. Hit that like button, share this with a friend who could use a little encouragement, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss more videos like this one. Because your health matters, and you matter.